Hey everyone, sorry, I just check out the streams right now and I made some slight mistakes. There were some updates, but now I'm ready. How are you today? We have a lot to do today, or at least I want to finish some stuff off. Nice to see you, Minu. Hey, hope you're well. I have to quickly check the sound settings. What? Morning, Robin. Nice to see you again. Alright, so let's start right away, I would say, right? Because what I want to start first with is we got a new information in our GitHub repository. So if we check our Flutter GitHub repo, here we go. We got finally some response there, and I want to first dig there a bit deeper. Then we're coming a bit closer and we can finish that PR maybe off today. That would be fantastic, which is this one. So we have some changes there, but we finally got some feedback. And I will add that to the chat. So, and what's great about this PR is at the moment we have nearly everything finished. And we got PR review from Hixie and from Darren Austin. And what they said is that they have some suggestions, like for example, I should keep it like before. I think here Hixie said that this documentation is not really useful, which is understandable because it was not very good. This should say things like what the default is, how it's applied, whether it can be null, when it takes effect, and when it's getting overwritten. Okay, so we can think about that. And the second thing is, here is a documentation guideline, which I really like that Hixie directly applied that for us. And the second part is some smaller stuff like needs spaces around the... so you see that if is directly on part of it. So because we can't use Dart FM, I think, we cannot directly autofocus everything. So we have to do that here. And there were also some information from Darren, and he also said that there is a cleaner way for the tests, which is perfectly fine. We can work on that. And I asked him just once more because of my comment. But that's all right. What I will do now is I will fix first all the issues that are in this PR, and will ask Darren to make a re-audit of this PR. And then we can work further, so that everything stays a bit active and nobody thinks that this PR is abandoned, because else we would lose or they maybe close it without that it's getting merged, and I would be very sad. Is that a plan for today? Are you happy with that as the first start before we go further with the website redesign? Hello AKS, how are you? Hope you are well. Had a good start in the day. So for that we have our branch, right? The issue input decoration in icon color. And what we have to do, of course, is we first have to fetch everything from Git so that we get the metadata, because I want to have the newest version from master in our branch. And I have to apologize. I have to make the music again a little bit silenter for me. It's too loud. So maybe like that. Can increase it here a little. Perfect. So with that, we should have now all the different parts. If I push, you can see we have there a lot of stuff inside. These are the newest version changes of master, and we'll push them directly into our branch. So if we take now here a look, nothing should change at least. So there should be just that a merge happened. Yep, so that is this one. Perfectly fine. And now we want to work on this stuff. The fourth, fifth. What does it mean? 4 or in the morning? Wow. You're an early bird, huh? Can't sleep? But not that you have insomnia or something like that. So input decorator.dart. Let's jump there first. So search for that. Here we go. And let's search for our documentation that we specified. Up. We cannot find it. That is not good. Are we in the right issue? 48882. 4882. Yeah, looks good. We get the dependencies here. Where did we do that? That should be in... There should be a line somewhere at 2646. No, up. So the Dart analysis is also pretty damaged, so I'm a bit confused here. Where all the errors coming from. PubSpec has been edited. Okay, so why we can't get the dependencies here? Let's try this one. But somehow, finally. So what do we have? There's the icon color set. This is perfect. And now here somewhere should be our problem here. So now let's have a look what Hixie sent us. Perfect. I think Figma is very good if you want to collaborate with a lot of people, so you can work there together on one project, which I really like. And also I can imagine for design teams it's very good because they can create components for each other and then can reuse everything and share it a bit easier. Why I currently stick with Adobe XD is purely because convenience, right? Because I don't have always the possibility to work with a browser. I'm in Germany, we have very bad internet. So I usually need to work on the computer itself. And then Figma is not the best option, unfortunately. So answers your own questions straight away. When working, okay. So, okay, bad, the background color. This is nearly what I did. Yep, the color with which to fill the circle. Changing the background color will cause the avatar to animate to the new color. Okay. So let's think about what can we write about. Why do we still have so many errors? That's weird. VSync isn't defined. The animation controller? Everything is damaged somehow. Yeah, so then we are exactly the opposite at the moment, but as I said, it's more a problem of the internet itself, less than that I don't want to prefer to work in the browser. The problem is anyway that I travel too much, maybe that's coming from, or there it comes from. That is everything a bit odd here. The argument type dynamic can't be assigned to parameter type num. That's alright, but why can't we fix that? Is there a problem with my stuff now, or where does these errors coming from? What I will do now is... Oh, that was loud. Thank you, Srida. Nice to see you. And what I will do is I will close down the project once more. Maybe this is the problem here, that I have to restart IntelliJ quickly. And then I will check if the view start version is correct. Sometimes this helps because the indexing of all the files inside of IntelliJ happens right at the beginning. So sometimes this helps actually. Yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, okay, that sounds like a terrible idea at the end. That makes sense for me. If you have to work from Linux to a Windows server, I think that costs a lot of time. Also to set up everything, I think that is horrible hard. So let's search for icon color. That is this stuff. All right, we have that. Okay, this. So. An icon to show before the input field outside of the decoration container. So color that describes the color of the icon. So what I want to write here is that the color that describes the color of the icon when it describes the icon color in a certain amount, in a certain situation, right? Ah, you don't know, you have no idea. I think the, let's check, I think the Germany internet mobile is horrible. Hey, Robert. So if you take a look there, I think our data plans are the most expensive ones and they are so slow, so slow. Yeah, you can Google that. I'm pretty sure you will find a lot of examples where that is really horrible. So I call that icon color. This describes the color of the, nah, makes no sense. I think usually we don't do that. So the color of the icon that describes the color, makes no sense. So now we have to write good documentation. I'm really bad at that, so let's check that out. What does this color actually change? I think we can have an example running, right? So all the examples inside of here, for example, I don't know, hello world here in that example, could run our icon color, which is an input decoration, right? So with that, we could have here, instead of a text, we could have an input decoration, or better, a text field. And in this text field, we would have a decoration, input decoration. And in this one, we can now pass the icon color inside, which would be color dot green, for example. And why I'm doing this here at the moment is just to get an idea how our new change inside of the Flutter project will behave. So we can test all the different scenarios and then we can understand what exactly changes. And with that, I hope that we can write a better documentation at the end. And Robert, how's it going? How was your week? A lot of stuff is indexing right now. In the meantime, I can jump into the examples. Let me check. What is it? LS, so cd examples, cd hello world. Fantastic, all with GitHub Actions. This is running in web, Fuchsia, and Android. Okay. Yeah, Robin, but the pricing is extremely high, right? So compared to all the other European countries, I think we are extremely expensive. I would like to have it in Chrome right now. And I think the problem is, for example, me, who is traveling a lot by the German Bahn, or Deutsche Bahn, we have also the problem that we can't... what is that? It takes tools input decorator. Found this kind of, but the arguments don't match input decoration. Input decoration takes the input decorator. Does it take now a different library? That would be bad because we don't want to use Flutter as an own dependency. We would like to take the parent. So now I assume that this one doesn't have to change, right? No, it doesn't. So let me check if we are using for this project the right Flutter version. The mobile internet in Germany is pretty expensive. And we use the one from tools, but I think I want to have that from development in this case. So now a lot of stuff has to be changed, I hope. So I'm leaving this, going back into the declaration. Will take a while. Same here. So where are you exactly? If it's 4 in the morning, that means it needs to be behind us. That would mean Spain, maybe Portuguese. Still red, but still analyzing. Okay, take a second. Ah, in Chile. On the other side of the world. Wow. Okay, I'm completely wrong. On the other side, it's like 10 a.m. in the morning here. That would mean 6 hours. That makes sense. Sorry for that. So let's give the computer a little bit time because I took the wrong version of Flutter and Dart. So it's always important if you're working with the Flutter project that you always relate to the right SDK version, that you always use the one that you downloaded. So you move between the two places all the time? That's fantastic. I had a nice call last week with someone from Malibu. That was really interesting because, yeah, the only thing that I know from Malibu is that there is, I think, 2.5 men. You know that? Okay, the indexing didn't work out like I expected, sadly. Let's close that one off one more. Makes sense, Robin. Is Spain the same time zone as Germany? Why does it not take the right Flutter part? So it takes Flutter packages from tools still. Do I have to change here something? Flutter. Can we set here the path maybe? That I say it should take the bin def. Let's try this one. I think that would be the path of Flutter. Particular file is not found. It's searched upon. This is not possible. Fantastic, Frank. I'm very proud of that. Thanks that you are a new subscriber. So this pubspec.yaml, I would like to set the dependency here because it seems it still takes the wrong one. Get dependency, get upgrade. Set Flutter path pubspec. Nah, that's not it. That's a weird issue now. Would love to change that. So the problem is that we have here the input decoration that I wrote myself, but we don't get the icon color, which is necessary. And the problem is that this part here, that hello world, tries to get the dependencies to Flutter. Unfortunately, not from the input decoration from my Flutter part that I have created. It tries to get it from somewhere else. So what I could do is I could try to remove this dependency here. Delete directory lib, all directories lib. I don't know if it's lib, but I would like to remove this dependency here. Did that help? No. What I will do is I will revert that quickly. Not that I do something completely wrong. Alright, I can maybe give a round trip. So I created a PR in one of my further sessions in Flutter itself. So you can find the link here, which is at the moment the PR, and I got like feedback from the people there. And what I would like to do is just make a short text field that tests our input decoration. And what I do for that is I'm working currently in the Flutter project itself, right? And here inside we have the possibility to write our stuff, like for example our input decoration. So the problem is this is not our changed input decoration. This is our changed input decoration. There we have an icon color since the newest parts. And unfortunately our testing example here does not take the right Flutter version. And I think that the problem is it is related that the pubspec.yaml was wrongly configured by me. So the IDE has a the wrong Flutter path. Now it has the right one, but it still asks for the old one. So what I want to do is now execute inside of this hello world Flutter clean. And Flutter clean usually cleans up all the dependencies once more. So I hope at least that it does that. So with that, if you're asking now for the next ones, no, we still receive the old one. I'm not quite sure how I can fix that, to be honest. Let's try to get the dependencies once more. Can I? What I could try is I can access that package exactly. This, if I'm going here with the path and I say something like I want to go some packages above, and then we go to packages, and then from here we go into Flutter. That could be the path that I'm searching for. So if I'm making pub get, we get some issues here. Error in line character narrated. This line is auto-generated to update. Use Flutter update packages. Force upgrade. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so it doesn't take the path. So in the worst case, I have to recreate an own package, I think. So let's check that out. We have the build here and the coverage. Nah, doesn't work like that. Okay, so what I will do is I will revert that change here, of course, because we don't want to change anything else in the Flutter package. It's just a bit sad that doesn't work like I expected. Reformat, optimize, delete. No, I want to roll back. That will be in the Git. Another thing that I would like to do, going here, search for GitHub, Git, because the Git integration has changed in the last couple of things. And I would like to take the old one, the old possibility to push stuff. Let me check. There was use non-modal committed applies to project. I think that was the part that I want to have. So, and now we have it better. Yeah, love that more. So I would like to revert this change here. Go back. So, and what I will do is I will create now an own project for Flutter. So I have to change this path here exactly to the development branch from our SDK. Now I will call that Flutter test. This is just a new project. Don't have to give any special name. I just want to have a pure testing thing. NNBD. What is NNBD? So we don't call it Flutter test. It is own Flutter test. Finish. Let's check that out. So NNBD. Sound null safety. Yeah, that will be amazing if it starts. I think they start now to implement everywhere the null safety checks. New window. So we have this one. And now I really hope that we have inside of here, if we keep the home screen for that, don't change so much. I would like to just remove everything that is inside of the body at the moment. So whoop, go away. And what do we have here? Scaffold, app bar, and the body needs to have something, which is in our case a text field with a decoration, input decoration. And now we see the icon color finally. So, and if we jump here, we are jumping into the icon to the newest version here. So that is really cool. Ooh, somehow weird. Okay, but with that we can test the whole thing. So if I start that up, for example, on my macOS, because it is a bit faster from the performance here, there. I hope with the stream everything is okay. I just don't see anything. I have no viewers, I have no likes, I have no nothing. So I just hope that everything works well at the moment. But I see some in the chat, so that's a good sign. And yeah, I'm looking also forward to it. It would be amazing because a lot of problems would just be solved with the null safety part, right? Also, I think for us as content creators, we have also, again, something to talk about, because I think a lot of tutorials are needed to understand null safety correctly from everywhere, right? So now we have here that part. And of course, if we want to set an icon color, we also need an icon. Thank you. So this is an icon itself, which is, I think we can take icon, and then we have to say icons dot, for example, add, or let's take a bigger one that we can see the differences correctly. So for example, category. Fantastic. Yeah, the problem is I'm not really inside of the video itself. I have this, how do you call it, studio from Thing. It's amazing. Yeah, where does it come from originally? I thought Kotlin was originally the one, right? As you can see, the icon color did not change for the active part. So what is happening if we reload the whole thing? Aha, so if it is default color at the moment, so if it's active color, it doesn't change. This is not a good behavior, or? I would say in general, this is not a really good behavior. That means, do we have an active color for that? No. That would mean we would just change it for things for that. Do we have something for the active or focused? I think focus color. So let's change this focus color to colors.orange. Let's reload. Okay. No, doesn't change it. What do we have else? I think color, fill color, and hover color. I just pass now all the colors inside that an input decoration can have, just to see how it behaves in general. So now the icon color is green, which is fine. So this is our color that we set, right? So inside of this part. But it's more the default color if nothing is active. If we activate the text form field, we can see it's getting blue. And the funny thing, or the funny story here is, nothing changed at all. So that means with that, in my opinion, we didn't have solved the issue here, right? Because if we are checking the GitHub issue once more, so for that I switch back to my part. Where is it? I think up here. We have some discussions here with the different colors. For now, it's possible the default color, exactly. So we can't set the default color. I think we got also a response from another glitch in the metrics who had the interesting idea that give all the different possibilities inside directly as an input decoration set. The idea is not too bad, I think. So we have multiple possibilities, but my idea was more that we can just pass down an own object called icon colors, and this icon colors object would contain then the different states and will always fall back to the default color. And another option or another idea that I had was that we have inside of the decoration also the default icon color. And if we don't set the default icon color, then we would get an, no, we would fall back to that. But what's important is if we set the icon colors, then we don't want to show the default icon colors. What do you think about this approach? I asked that, but unfortunately nobody answered to that yet. But I think to just give the default color is not a really good solution, right? It would be just an 80% thing. So this icon color is actually at the moment just the, how can we describe it best? This color changes the default, no, the non-active default state of the icon. That was a mistake. Oh, that was a mistake. So what I have to do inside of this project that is very important in the key map, I have to remove the, where is it? I think this one, reformat code, because it's not allowed inside of the Flutter project. So we remove that. Non-active default state of the icon color. When the input field is unfocused, the icon of the text field receives this color. This does not apply to if the text field is active, inactive, or hovered. Or at least I think, right? So I think we have to pass down here and unhover. If this is possible? No. So there is a hover which makes the color black, but somehow it doesn't really work. There is an on-hover possibility, but over by a mouse. If filled is true, the color is blended. Fill color, decoration. Do I have to pass then an on hover possibility? So do I need an inkwell for that? Hey, whoever joined new. Cjav, nice to see you around. Hey. So now we have the on hover on that, but nothing changes. Also not for the icon. But I think the line on the bottom gets black. Let me check if I change that to red. I think then we can see it easier. Still not too good, but I think it's really changing to red. Yeah. Interesting enough that the icon color does not change for on hover. So that means also there is a problem with the icon color. So that input decoration is not completely well thought through, I think. So what I will do is I will really change it to this, even though that the issue only complains about the default state, I think. So for now it's not possible to set the default color of an icon on the input decoration when the text form field doesn't have the focus. It just returns a predefined constant according to the brightness of the theme. Some changes might be added due to make it possible to define the color scheme based on its input state. On the other hand, the last part is there. Okay, so I think this approach is pretty neat. I think we will keep it with that. The only thing that I want to understand is how this works if I want to pass an icon and level inside. So instead of having this icon color, I would recommend that we have a class here, for example, icon color. So I don't know if these classes are getting set here inside. So we have a lot of colors, we have input decorations, init states. Now it's a bit a question, how does Flutter usually work in this case if you want to create something like that? Render boxes, we have this box to aligned. Okay, so it seems these render decoration layouts and so on are also created inside of this class, which means we have a very big input decoration class, but everything that relates to this stays here inside. So let me check if we have input border painter. That would be like the input decoration itself, right? So there should be a class for that somewhere. Okay, could take a while here. Yeah, something like that. Then we have all the different parts inside. Then we have to think about how we can work with that. How does the structure look like? So here on the structure tab, we can see the whole class, how it looks. and with all the different parts that there are inside. I just make them small so that I can read a little bit easier through it. I think we have also the opportunity to do that here. No. So, so we have the input decoration, which is getting returned, the input decorator, which is a class, and all others are somehow private floating label. Okay. Never auto always floating label behavior. Okay, this is how the label behaves. And then we would have here maybe, but this is on enums, right? And I see right now that they are not really sorted. So there are classes and enums in all direct, in all meanings, right? They are just shuffled around. What I will do is I will create up here something. So in my opinion, here should be now this new class that I think about, like icon colors or decoration icon colors. Maybe, but it's a long name. I would think for the users, how would you like to put the different icon colors inside of our new or in our input decoration? Would have always to create such a long name, somehow weird. On the other side, it is very clear what this means, right? I keep it for now like that, and then we can discuss that. So if you have a better idea, please let me know. We do add documentation. On the other hand, I can just add that right now. Because it will be a public class, right? Our customers will see that, so we have to put add a documentation for that. And then we would need here, it looks great, fantastic if you like that, and I'm really happy. So, and we would have here some colors inside, so I will make them, are they final? It's a good question. Would that be a final part? Let me think about it. Can start by changing all of them and maybe make it right. So up, play, and remove that part here. Get rid of this. And all of them are color. So I think we can make them all now final and create a constructor for that. So this color, this hover, this focus, this active, this default one. Default is a name. It's this is not a good name. This would be the standard color. How could we call that? Default is not a good name because it collides with a keyword from Dart. So we would have to change that somehow. The default color would be, how do you call that in all the other applications? I think if we are checking for, do we have a reference where we can see something like that, where it already happens? The standard is also not that good. So we have active, we have hover, we have focus, we have disabled. The last one would be something like the icon color. Yeah, why not? Sounds like a good idea, Modrian here. So let's keep it with icon color. Of course, we have to change it down here too. Voila. And with that, the decoration, suppress public members API docs, sort constructor first. Yeah, sure, that we can do. Oh, we have to put that on top. Have these parts here. Okay, so really all parts getting documented. Okay, I will give that right away a shot and we'll have a look here. So if we go down to our input decoration, oh, we have an input decoration theme. Hint style, error style, suffix, fill color, focus color, okay. Also the input decoration theme has to get an idea. But if we go to the input decoration now, how does it look like? Okay, creates, enable only prefix tags, suffix tags, okay. Wow, so much documentation for that. The border labels, okay, so I would also have to add this part. So I think it will be not that easy that we are quickly done here. So for that I will add here something, and we have to add it here too. So here we can say this color is the default fallback color. The icon color is the default fallback color that is shown if the text field is not selected, or it's not only that it's not selected, it would be the color that we would like to use whenever nothing else is selected. So always if to fall back to that color. Then we would have hover. I think we have somewhere hover color already inside of the hover color. And what I would like to do is take the documentation here, the color of focused highlights for the decoration shown if the container is being hovered over by mouse. So something like that. And I think all the other parts we don't really need because it is just for the icon, right? So let's jump back here. That would be the hover color. The color of the focus highlight for the decoration for the icon shown if the container is being hovered over by mouse. Yeah. We could use the same thing of the focus for the highlight shown if the container is being focused. Focus. And now we remove, of course, over by mouse, just if it has the focus. Highlight for the icon. I see right now that we don't need these spacings. I think I get there a report for, so I don't do that. So the disabled would be the color of the focus highlight of the for the icon shown if the container is being disabled. And the last thing, if it's active. I think with that we are pretty good, because what happens now is if we are going back to our example on the other side and we would have this icon color, which I can't set yet because I didn't use it correctly yet, defines the different icon color states that the text form field or the text, the input decoration provides. So I will add there also more, but for now this is good. And here we will have a build something, which is also a to-do, right? If you have good ideas how we can improve the documentation, please let me know. Okay, so now we have some broken stuff, which makes sense because all our icon colors that we have created everywhere is not possible anymore. So let's first check out the input decoration itself. So that's why I'm going to structure here into the input decoration, which has the icon color, which is now a decoration icon colors. And I think we have more issues here, for example, because now we say up here that we get a color, but also this is a decoration icon colors. Oops. Which is decoration icon colors. I will change that with a rename. Yeah, and so I tried to get my head around the Flutter repository. So this is my second PR, so don't be too confident that everything that I'm doing is correct. So that is just my training, more or less, to get better with that stuff. The argument type dynamic cannot be assigned by the parameter type decoration. Hey Musa, nice to see you. How are you? So, and now if the decoration icon color is unequal to null. So in the decoration icon color, where does this comes from? This is not really the icon color, right? We have also here the decoration icon colors. And now let's see. So the decoration icon colors unequal to null. And then what is that part here? I think this is our icon color. And then here we want to return the icon color also itself. And what I can also fix right now is that part here. And because up there is no, how do you call it, bracket, I will remove it also down here. But of course, all this can change in the future, because that get default icon color should then understand something like, okay, if this here exists in general, then we just use this icon color and don't return anything of the other stuff. Because also this down here are just defaults, right? So whenever we have the dark theme, we will show that in white 70, and if it's a light theme, we will always show that in black 45. And I think that is not the way to go. But I see right now we access the theme data icon theme color, so nearly all of that has to be rewritten somehow with our solution now. Okay, so we have that decoration icon, all right. We have two to-dos. And now everything works. That sounds interesting. I can't imagine that, but let's check that out in our example. So we have nothing of that left, right? Or we can we can remove all of that. And here we have now our icon, I thought decoration icon colors, which is a decoration icon colors. Hope we can import that. Yep, that works. And of course I made a mistake because all of them are not named parameters, right? We have to create a named constructor for that, because that is the usual way to go for such stuff. So inside of here we have now the possibility to add the different colors. So the icon color would be our fallback color. If I set that to green, for example, that doesn't work. Why exactly? Because all of them are necessary. So the type int can't be assigned to the parameter type color. Interesting. What does that mean now? Because they are final. I think that is the reason for that. Let's change that. No, there is not colors. That was the mistake maybe. So maybe we can keep it with final. Yeah, way better. So let's have a look. Hot reload, blah blah blah. Reason for canceling at fixed ID name input decoration. Const class cannot remove fields. Okay, interesting. Does it work actually? So if I restart now everything, let's see what we get. No error here. Okay. So we have the green color as a default now. That works fine. So what happens if I'm using active? I think there will be nothing, right? So we didn't implement that yet. Of course, if it's disabled, I would like to have it in primaries. Because, no, what do we have? I think there was like something I think that pink accent looks fantastic. Focus, colors purple. And hover, colors, I don't know, maybe amber. Okay, so if I'm going back and we see nothing happens, right? So not for hover, not for anything. and we receive an error. So that the no name parameter with decoration input colors found is candidate. Okay, that's interesting. This guy gets the decoration in icon colors. I think we have that here too. Decoration icon colors, yep. Ah, the problem is most likely that this part has to be specified up here somewhere. Oh, there it is already, correct. Okay, that looks fair enough actually. So where comes the problem from? Now let me close that completely off. Maybe he has some problems if I'm working directly in the Flutter API. Let's drink a cup of coffee. Can it replace React? Well, no. Actually, I don't think that this will happen in the short term. The problem with that is that React at the moment is one of the most popular web frameworks, and of course it can replace it. It will just take time. Actually, Flutter is currently more concentrated on mobile, and as long as web is anyway just in beta, and Flutter is still a very young platform, right? So it will take a while for that. React Native, I think yes, and also very quickly, but not the complete React framework. I can't imagine that. Hope that answers your question. Okay, but now what we can see is that decoration icon colors works for the green color, but not for everything else. That is the reason because we didn't have implemented any of that yet. So I don't know how does... Okay, so we have here an enum, but where do we have a class? So there's it's always with this and then enter. You're very welcome. And so I will do the same here, that we don't get angry people. So voila. Nope, 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 that was a mistake. Voila. Make a space here. Also here, I think. So how does it look here? So we have all these, and then we have a comma at the end, and then these parts are separated. So what we could do is also asserting something that we need something of these. I don't know if this is necessary. I think if we pass the decoration icon colors inside, but we would not pass anything inside, we will see that when we have implemented it completely. So let's see where we get the default icon colors. I think inside of our material or inside of our input decoration that we find down here, we have the different colors, right? So this one gets the decoration icon up. So let's search for that. Copy with, we have that part that works. Fantastic. We have that in the list. Also there. I think we can change here the naming that we don't miss that. Up there we have the different colors. That makes sense. And I think down here, where was it? Copy with, apply with, get default icon color. So this method here. This method is important for our icon color of the input decoration. And why is it important? Because it's asked if the text form field is focused, and if it is focused, we get the active color. And interesting enough, the active color is only, or is actually for the whole text form field. So that's interesting, because if I return here, for example, return red, in any case, so we will see as soon as I'm switching back and I'm clicking in it, the icon gets red here in that case. And also this is hard-coded, right? So brightness dark, brightness light, then we get the primary and the exit color from the theme data. So where is that used? This one's used here to get the color of the floating label style, okay? And it is used here for the decoration error text, okay? So how did it behave? My one, get default icon color, exactly. So the active color, and then we have the active color here too. Let me think about that. Means our color is dependent on this one. And now we would have some logic here for the icon color. And we have to get default icon color if is focused is not true. I have to think a little bit because I am not completely aware where the different, so what the terminology is. So let me check. If I'm going here and search for the input decoration API, we will get this material class here. And what I want to read about it is just what are the different states of this part. So what can we put inside actually? So when we are talking about active or inactive or something like that, what does it actually mean? So here we are in the input decorator. No, also not. Maybe the input decoration itself. No, that is this one. I think it's sadly not completely under described here. Maybe in the text field itself. Decoration is null, controllers, okay, obscure text. No, also not. So I have to think my way through. So we have hover, focus, disabled, and active. Focus means for me that if I'm selecting the part, right? So that would be my focus color. How would that behave in the decoration? We have all these different stuff. What we can try is just working with our text form field. And for example, disable is the easiest one. And I think we can use that as a default. So if I'm entering here disabled or enabled false, I think, which would be disabled. So now it should take this color. So we can try this case in the first place now. So if we look here, it is disabled, it's getting gray, but actually what we want is to have it now pink accent. So let's have a look. How can we do that? Get default icon color. So here in that area, so we have that if check against the decoration enabled and is focused. So if it is not focused and disabled, if it's not focused and disabled, then we show the disabled color of the theme data, but only if the decoration, can I access here? Decoration dot decoration icon colors dot not inactive disabled is null. So if this color is not set, we access this one. And also important is that we make a null safety check against this decoration icons color, because else we would fail here maybe already in the first place if we don't provide it in the first place. So if we close that down once more and start it again. I hope this is an interesting topic for you guys, because I really like to work in the Flutter repository and I would like to do that in the future more. So I really hope that you enjoy that. So now our text form field is disabled and we have our pink color. So that worked already perfectly fine. So fantastic. So if I make that red, we will see immediately the change to red. And what, can I focus that on purpose? So focus. I know Tailwind CSS, and well, I know it in that case that I heard about it. Copy paste or a page builder for Flutter. Yeah, it would be amazing to have something like that. Do you know Tailwind UI? There's something similar in Flutter. I don't know it too much, so let's check that out. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit. So there's a Tailwind UI. Tailwind UI. Ah, this is our just components. I think there are multiple of these. I don't know if there is a Tailwind components library for that, but I think you will find on pub.dev. Let's search for Tailwind, maybe we find something. Do we have the colors? No, but there is no library for that. If you search for components, then I think you have something like get widget, if you know that. There you also get like predefined components that you use right away that should be pretty easy to use. So like that cards, you have like avatars and so on and so forth. And they work pretty good on that part. So I can highly recommend you to take a look there if you want to have more possibility in widgets or predefined widgets. Okay, so that works. So let's test something else. What happens if I remove now all that part? So nothing is set, right? So then the default color is getting back into place and we don't get any error. Or do the user see something? No, fantastic. So with that we have the fallback color of gray, which comes from the theme. And else we would like to show our disabled color red here, which works perfect. So before we start now with something else, I would like to create a test for that. That is the paid version from the same creator of Tailwind CSS. There's a free version Tailblock. Yeah, I can imagine they usually do that, especially because bigger companies really like to pay for something like that. And I know that. And I think there's also another company that Flutter recommends for something like that. But I forgot the name. I'm sorry. I can search that for you if you want to. Decoration. Okay, I want to write a test for that. For that, I jump into the test. And if you remember the last time, we had already something like that. And let's check that out. Is this our test actually? Add circle is focused, const decoration, input decoration. Now we have enabled false. And instead of having an disabled color here, where does this come from now? Disabled color of built-in pair. Okay. So theme disabled color. Okay, this comes from the theming, which is of course correct, I think. Yeah. And here we currently use that one. Should take icon color into account. Okay. So here we want to have the decoration icon in the future. So to fix that, first off, I would like to have the decoration icons color. I think that was wrong. Decoration colors. No. It's the best if you create classes and you don't forget the name for it. So let's copy that over. This constructor being called isn't a const constructor. Okay. Okay, so we can do that. I don't know if this is happy doing. Okay, this one has to be const or can be const. Fantastic. I think I can create a const constructor for that too, right? Because this part will not change. So actually we could keep that const where it belongs. And everyone should be happy with that. So here we have the icon color. I think that one should use the icon color exactly. And we bring the colors back. Oh, I found a new plugin for Mac yesterday, or and it's like clip, something with copy clip. And if you don't know that, it copies all the different things or shows all the different things that you have copied in the last couple of days. And you can get them by command 0, command 1 and so forth and so on. And I really like that because I usually use that in IntelliJ, but for macOS it's even better for me. Then I can use it everywhere. Okay, so this is our test here. And let's see if I'm running here all the tests, what happens. Most likely we will break some stuff, which is fair. Hey Rishabh, nice to see you again. How are you today? Had a good start in the day? Or I think at your place it's now already pretty late, right? So we get the first error with a sizing. How can that be? I think I didn't change anything in sizing, so let's go further. further. Ooh, there are a lot of errors. What happens? Fantastic. To have a good sleep is very important. So all the tests are failing somehow. That's interesting. Additionally, that I get all the disabled. The input decorator, input layout. Something is very odd. Ah, and I see right now. Wait, what is that? The binding, I don't mind. Widget tester, okay. I would like to run these tests here, right? So if I just run this test, you should set silent observability to true when debugging the VM, okay. Happy to hear that you like it, Brian. I saw your question, I think, somewhere. I didn't know if I have answered that yet. I thought I kept that somewhere, but it is in the back of my mind. Oh, I think you never know that, if that helps. The problem is, as a developer, you always have open questions, and I know this answer is not really helpful, but if you... How do you know that you are ready for as a developer? I think as soon as you get a question and someone asks you a question and you can't answer it, but you don't feel necessarily bad about it, then you are ready as a developer, if this makes sense. No, I think pubspec.yaml open is no problem for me. I can try that right away. Maybe we freeze, but let's have a look. So where do we have a pubspec.yaml? Let's just search for pubspec.yaml. No, it works pretty fine. Maybe you have a problem with your Android Studio. In the worst case, just reinstall it. I think that will help in 80% of the times. Never had to do that before, but yeah. In the next video is already set, unfortunately, else I would add that. I can explain SQL with an app. I can explain SQL in general. I just don't know. The problem is always that I'm currently very Flutter related, right? So everything should be somehow related to Flutter. But I can work with SQLite and explain there a little bit how SQL actually works. And maybe we can combine that somewhere. Okay, so did you check the plugins, or do you think it's the plugin of... Sorry, or do you think it's the plugin of Flutter? So if you check the plugins here, you can remove and add some of them. Yeah, but I'm currently working on 48.1.4 and it works pretty well. At least now. The only problem that I maybe know, I don't know if you are working on a beta channel of Android Studio, then it will not work. The problem is there that the plugins are not supported from Flutter in general. Okay, but I'm getting distracted again. Sorry for that. Let's check how we can do that. So the tests are failing, all of them. That is super weird. And what is the reason for that? Do we have the input decoration correct here? The input decorator, this is just an element. This decoration is an input decoration, and this input decoration is a wrong one. So even the tests are taking the wrong Flutter repository. So let's check here the Flutter version. Oh, that's bad. I don't know how to fix that, to be honest. So this should be clear, but why is it not taking the right one? Interesting. No, I don't have this problem at all. Did you have the chance to create an issue for that, or did you check the I think if you're going up here on help, and then you can also search for the show log in Finder, and I think you will get the idea log. And then you get all the exceptions that are happening. So for me, here happened something or anywhere. So you can check there maybe, and maybe you find there the solution for your problem. Because at the end, IntelliJ is just, or Android Studio is just a Java application. So you can read the stack trace there very easily. And you can create an issue for Android Studio or for the plugin if it's failing. That could help. Okay, so back to my problem. Unfortunately, this is also not good. I cannot start it. So the input decoration is this. The decoration is an input decoration. Fair enough. Why did I have the disabled color here as a separate thing? That makes also no sense. I see it right. Ah, because I want to add it to the theme. Okay. Let's check that out. What I want to do now is I would like to remove, and it feels pretty bad, but what I want to do is now inside of my home file here, we want to get rid of this Flutter part here. And what I will do is, because it's in the path, I will rename that to working. So, and now here should get some issues in this place because that part tries to access this Start version. So let's try to run the tests once more. Where is it possible? Where are my tests? Find a double border part, double. Here's the test. So let's run that one. And still we get some very weird errors. Expected size to be debug size 600. But I didn't change anything with the sizing. Oh, I have a bad feeling. Could it be that this is related to the master channel that there is at the moment a test failure? Where is that anyway from? Will be removed in 0.13. Was maybe a mistake. Drop frame? No, that's not it. This is now the issue. Then what I will do is I will ignore all the other tests, just stick with mine at the moment. Create binary. Widget tester, okay. So let's search for my icon color. And just test this one right now. Ah, fantastic. Okay, my tests are running through at least. So that's something. And this also added by me? I don't remember anymore. It's like too long. Yeah, so it's also added by me. Also with my weird username. Okay, so why is that anyway the weird username? Don't add that with my... Oh, I have so many of them. Anyway, we'll do that in the future. Okay, so this one is also by me. That's interesting. So this is when the disabled color from the theme comes from. That's good. And we have tested that too. When does the live session start? I think we are right at it. What do you mean with the live session? Hey Vinod, nice to see you. So icons do not disturb. So we have that, should take into account. This works, fantastic. Run. Prefix and suffix, okay, it's from someone else, fantastic. The website development will not start today. I think there is too much to do with the PR, unfortunately, Minu. Sorry. But that will be also another part. So I will copy the whole thing because we want to take input decorator should take the icon color into account. No, it should be taking the disabled icon color into account. And for that, we will pass the decoration icon color inside and say here disabled. Give colors dot, or let's take a const color here, 0xFF, and then let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make that a const. And here we check against this color. Do not disturb, we ask for the same icon, and I think that const is not necessary. Final icon theme, first widget, find ancestor. I think we got a message also in our PR that we should improve the testing behavior that we have. So maybe this is also a good idea. Let's check for the PR that is here. So we have done this, I think. And also this. I would say we have that in place. We work on the documentation still. A possible cleaner way to getting the theme would be we get the final icon, okay. First widget, tester, find by icon, okay. Where does that happen? This is at 1468. 1468. 68, that would be this part here. Yeah, also added by me. So instead of getting the first icon, find from the ancestors, he could add that from here, he mentioned. Okay, fantastic. Didn't know that there is a possibility to find ancestors widget of exempt type. That is fantastic. So good to know. That's a good thing if you are working in the Flutter repository and learn always new stuff, right? Because that is exactly what I needed, and I made nearly the same thing, just way more complicated. So let's see if the test is still running through. And if so, we would reuse that everywhere. Yeah, cool. So that works. And I think we do that everywhere, right? We ask for the matching part, we search for the ancestor, first widget, and so on and so forth. And we can do the same thing with these two lines at the end. I'll keep that. That would be the icon theme. Yep, in that case we have do not disturb. And we can get rid of that and have the same behavior. Alright, and last but not least, we do the same thing here, but we need a new icon. So let's take the, I would say, set something very lastly. Let's take zoom in. And then we can check for the color. Yep. And now let's run the test. Whoops. I don't know if this is, or what I see usually, prefix and suffix icon. I also see this parts here where they test all the different parts. Why is this test not runnable? Expected color FF12345 is something else. It's 000. But that didn't work now like we expected. Okay, fantastic. So why is that? Do we have a second zoom in? No. Because the icon itself. So if we build this input decoration with that build input decorator, we did not set that to enable false. So if we check here, we build the whole thing with directional, input decorator, theme, builder, material. So we build it here, and now we have to set its focus. Can we set it to disabled? No, not really, right? So this part, this focus is hovering. Dark disabled, but I think we cannot disable it here inside. Unfortunate. Or can we? What is that child? It's a text widget, okay. What is that? We work with an input decorator. Can we disable that somehow? Flutter. What? Okay, so it seems that this is only possible for a text field. So what I maybe will do is, instead of using all of that, I don't know if it's necessary, so we will check that out. But there is the disabled color set, but this disabled color is for... but here's an input decoration where we say enabled false. I think we can do the same. If we go here, and here in our input decoration we can say enabled false. And I think with that we have the test running correctly. Stop and rerun. Fantastic. So we got that. Should take that into account. Fantastic. So this works, all the tests are working fine. So what I also want to test is the input, if there is no icon color selected, it will fall back to the default color. So test widgets, we have again a test called input decorator. How do we call that class again? Decoration icon colors not set. So now we have the expected colors, all that. I just copy that for now. And what we want to do, if this part is not selected and nothing done, why is it now red? Const color, expected color. Up here, of course, yeah. We have to pass the widget tester inside and make it asynchronous. That's always so difficult. But fantastic, now we have that running. And what we want to do is we don't want to set anything. Let me think about it. I think we tested that already, right? Because down here we do exactly that. We set the disabled color and we just look if that one is running through and takes the default color. So we could keep that away by removing this and this. We take, I don't know, baby changing station, we get that. And we ask for the color, which would be, in that case, the default color, which would be themed primary, right? For that, I will just run that here. It will fail, and the color that we receive should be the color that we should enter. So bad statement, no element, okay. No such method or the icon color. Focus false is empty false. Icon color was called on null. Tried calling icon color. Okay, so here we get the error because decoration icon color is now not there, so we cannot set that, of course. And with that it's getting false and we fall through. We don't have to do it here because that part is failing, so nothing else will happen here. So that makes sense. So we found an issue already, so it was worth the test. So we will keep that test also. Yeah, and now we get the default color, which is exactly what we want. So 7 free and then a lot of zeros. Fantastic. So that is here. And here we have, instead of this, 7 free and a lot of zeros. 1, 2, 4, 6. Fantastic. And I think that should do the trick. And instead of having an own variable, which we don't use anywhere else, we can align that. So now we put that right away down here. So we don't have to pass that everywhere. And run again. Now it should be fine. So now you saw why we write tests in the first place, right? Great. So that happens. So let's stick with the next one. So that means let's check that out. What happens here? So we have a red icon because it is disabled. If we remove the disabled or make it enabled, then we should have it green, which works fine. Fantastic. So this works. We have this done. So I make here a short note behind. Done. We have done the disabled. Done. So now active. What does active mean? Active is selected. Could that be? But at the moment active would be blue. Which should be orange, if this is correct. So we get that somewhere else. I think that is the active color. So if we search for that again, we have this active color here, which comes from the theme data. And this active color is on focus. So exactly, the active color is actually the color blue here in that case. So if we take a look inside of the get active color, we will see that we have currently a light theme. And with that, we get the primary color here. So what we have to do inside of, not in the test, sorry. Or actually in the test, we could write the test first, make some test-driven development. So we write first the test, let that fail, and then we fix the problem. So what we want to have is we want to push a widget with that built input decoration. And inside of this decoration, we want to make it enabled, true. We want to make it focused. I don't think we can do it here. Here we make true, so it is focused. And now we would like to have whatever we get here. I think we had also another. So the rounded, for example. And when this is enabled and focused, then it should get a specific color. And for that, we pass down our decoration icon color. Colors. With the active color of colors dot, or make it a specific color, which would be color 0xFF, and then we will give the color this one. Make that, I think the whole thing is already const, fantastic. So, and we would wait for this color here to happen. Now in this case, we use the color twice, so we could make that a variable again, expected color. So bring that up. Remove one const here and bring that here. Okay, so the active color should be this whenever we have it enabled, and that should work. So if we run the test, I hope it is getting red. We can remove it here and have to add it here. No? No, we shouldn't use const, we should use final, of course. I think, or final const even. Why is it yellow? Specifying type, yeah, okay, fair enough. Now it's happy. Okay, so we have that in place, that works, we pumped the widget, we have it enabled, so this test fails now. Hopefully. Yeah, so it fails, we get a different color, which is completely different. We get the primary color, FF2196F3, which is perfectly fine that this fails, so that is exactly what we want. And now we want to fix that. So inside of our input decoration, we found that this get active color is usually used to find the color or is focused, and else we return the color of hint color. Hmm. Hey, good morning from Peru. Nice to see you. Pierre Guyen, nice name. These errors that occur, which errors? These errors that I write here in the test? This ones? This is not an error from Flutter, it's more a Flutter problem from myself, because what I'm doing here is writing a test, right? And I say that I want to have a specific color inside of my icon. And if it doesn't have the icon color, then we want to fail. If this makes sense. And now I can fix the test here. So let's have a look. So this getActiveColor has a focused and a hint text, a hint color. Now it's getting a little bit interesting, or it's getting a bit tricky, because we use that getActiveColor in 2 places. Yeah, so it's not really a problem from Flutter, or it will be in the future. At the moment it's our problem, because we are the developers here, and now... So we have any chance to explain? Yeah, sure, go for it. If you have questions, go for it. Yeah, so the idea is that I write a testing net for myself, for my stuff that I want to push into the Flutter repository. Because as you know, we have currently an open PR here. And this current open PR needs tests. Flutter does not allow anything in his repository if it's not tested. And what I want to do, or because I changed so much of the behavior here that we have multiple colors, we have different possibilities. So if you use in the future the input decoration and you use this input decoration here with that input icons colors, then you can say Flutter explained and Max did that. So that is the idea at the end. But that will take a second still, because I'm still not there yet. So the decoration icon, we get the active color. And the thing is, for the icon active color, we can use the active color, but only if the decoration color is not specified. So decoration icon colors, and then here we want to have active. And if this is empty, then we want to return the active color. And I think that is true, right? So the question is now just, if it is not focused, then we want to return the hint color here. But if it is not focused, we don't get this active color in the first place. So we would anyway jump to the get default icon color. So the hint color here would be never used. So this makes hopefully sense. So if this is true, so that is good for the first part. But what we have also to test, what I see right now, is what happens if we don't pass it in the first place. Because if we don't pass it in the first place, this here would fail, right? We have to make here a question mark. Well, SQL is pretty big, right? So what I would recommend you is there are fantastic tutorials. And also I think if you go to Code Academy, which is a free online learning platform, which I can recommend, which I always used when I learned something. They have a complete SQL course. And I will pass that to you, and I would highly recommend it to you, because you get stuff like it's SQL cheat sheet where everything is explained, and also how you can start with it. And I think that helps you a lot there. Because SQL is a huge topic and I cannot just jump into it today and explain you everything there. Sorry for that. But I hope that helps. Good, so we use that active color, but what I would like to do is, because it's get a bit unreadable, I don't know if this is happy for the devs from Flutter, but we will see. I will just do it here and let's see what they will tell me in the future. But just to make sure, this is the active color that we use for the icons, and this is the default icon color. Which is anyway a weird name, I think. Get default icon color. This could be get active icon color in the future, but let's see. Yeah. So let's run the tests again. So if we are here, we run the test. Fantastic. Good questions. Well, yes, this is testing what I'm doing here. I write currently tests, as you can see there. So this is the stuff what I'm doing here in the input decorator test.dart. These are my tests, and everything that I copy and so on with that tester pump widgets, that's called a unit test. And or better specifically, it's a component test actually, or a widget test. Because what we are doing here is we create inside of the test framework a widget that is just there for this test. And after that, we are testing inside of that widget if it has some issues. Fantastic. And Mahmed, if this is your problem, then I would recommend you, if you want to start with SQL, then it's SQLite. Is it SQLite? No, like that? Yeah, here we go. So this package will help you a lot for that. Sorry for that, AKS. I'm always, that's good that you asked that, because I don't sometimes understand the issues that I'm just talking for myself and don't really explain what happens here. Should be set. So we have the decoration not set, default colors. No, this is something else, right? So this test should test if the input decorator with decoration should test if takes the active color of the decoration, takes the active color into account. You're very welcome, Borhan. I don't know if I created already a video for the SQLite somewhere. I think I worked already with that, but it's a long time ago, so I can imagine that you didn't find the video yet. And I think there are also other YouTubers who already covered that topic, so you can really take a look there. You will find a lot. So with that, if we have now an icon color here and we have all that specified, we'll look at that. We have an active input decoration, as you can see, and we see that it's getting orange now. That's perfect, AKS. That's the best thing that you can do, because asking questions is the best way to learn something. And especially if you want to really understand something, you have to ask a lot of questions. So it's green now. If I'm selecting it, it's getting orange. So fantastic. This here is done. But of course, we have also to test the opposite part. What if this is empty? And there you can go. There we go. Then it's blue again. So that works fine. So as you can see, because you asked that, this is now our testing, an own app for itself, where we just test if our stuff is working for the customers later. So if you come in the future and work with Flutter and you pass this down, then I want to make sure that everything works exactly in the behaved way. So, and what I would like to see if we remove that, for example, so have we icon colors, right? Can I see that here? So if I make Command P, it doesn't work. I know exactly what you mean. The problem is usually front-end stuff is usually taken as granted and very easy. But if you want to make it right, it's getting harder and harder. And I, as a full-stack developer, have always that problem. Yeah, I know. Especially if they are very good with CSS, I'm always like, wow, what stuff you can do. So, I think here we can organize it with .fmt, no? Okay. Pre-order, no. Anyway, we have that, that's fine. So with that, the active color is also done. And what I would like to do in no test subject found, okay, okay, wrong. Here, so it takes active color into account. Decoration color is not set, should use default color. And I think we should do the same test for that here too. Just to make sure that no other developer make that problem. So we add all that parts and say if the decoration icon colors is not there, then we want to take the default color. So we change again the icon, because the icon is our reference where we want to test what we want to test. We take that here. And the expected color we don't need here in that case, because it's just our default color. And we set here just any color for now. because it will anyway be false, wrong. And it should take now the default color of the theme. So let's see. And it should not take the default color, takes the active color into account. Takes the theme color instead. Or takes the active theme color for the icon instead. Okay, so we run the test and it should be wrong because our color is of course wrong. Yeah, so we get white, but the primary color at the moment is that FF, so it's just the primary color. The Flutter doc is outdated. What do you mean with that? Where's my test? Here, so it is the primary color. Do I get the primary color somehow? I think we could try something like that, I say theme data dot... Can I receive the theme data? Not really, right? Icon theme dot primary? I know it's taking the icon theme, right? So what I could try is I can ask for... No, that should be the same. Find ancestor widget of exact type. Can I ask here for the theme data? This is final theme data theme. Could ask for the theme data. Ooh. I was looking for tab view and it shows it is deprecated. Yeah, it could be. We have a lot of stuff to do in the Flutter documentation at the moment. So you search for tab view. Let us take a look. I would be interested. Work with tabs, tab bar view sample. Maybe I should add the API. Currently released, typical to see. It's not tab bar view, right? Just tab view. Tab bar. Huh. Can you no. Interesting. To see sample, tab controller. Tab bar view, tab bar view. Sorry, don't find it. So why can't I get the theme data here? What's the problem? Unused local variable. Okay, it's unused. Yeah, that makes sense. So here we want to check against the theme data dot primary. But now why is that red here? Maybe theme data. I think that's correct. Maybe it was not imported. Okay, let's run that test again. And it's still failing because we get a lot of errors. Okay, that looks weird. In loading input decorator. Okay. No, still error here. Theme data doesn't extend widget. Okay, that makes sense. So icon theme extends widget. Interesting. So can I just search for the theme? No, also not. If I'm looking in the first place here, so we get theme, and this is a widget actually. So I would say there should be a theme. Theme. Just theme. A value of type theme cannot be assigned to theme data. That's correct. So this would be a theme. And the theme doesn't have the primary color. What do we have here? We have here most likely something else. data, and here we find the primary color. This is then, this here is then the theme. I think that would be the better test here in that case. So let's run that again. Green, fantastic. So with that, we have the test a little bit stronger because we know now that the default color is our theme color. And I would like to do the same here. The decoration icon color not set should use the default color for disabled, right? So what we can do is we also search for the theme here. And instead of just taking a random color that we don't know if this is the right one, we take here the disabled color. And this one should be our 0, 3, something. Whoa. Okay, we just think that this is the right one, so let's run it. But I assume this is our 0, 4, 7, 4 something. Oh no, unfortunately not. This is something else. Where comes this 0, 3, 0, 0, 0 from? Which color is taken into account? So for that, what we can do is we jump into our input decoration and check out where we get our color. So we have that icon color focused, else we go to the default color, right? And if it is now not focused nor enabled, it should take the disabled color. Ooh. Maybe we have an issue here. So it is not focused and it is not enabled. Hey Abbas Mustakademin Hussein, welcome to the channel. So we have that not enabled and not focused. So what is here? For disabled color, it is not focused. This is in general. So if it is not focused but enabled, then it should take the default color. And this is 0, that would be blackish or grayish actually. So that means that would be this black 45, right? Yeah, so that would be this black 45. Okay, so this is not this is just a random color at the moment. Pretty interesting. Okay, but still it solves the issue here. So for that, it is the primary color. We have that test running. Fantastic. So back to our test here. So what is the next thing that we would like to do? The focus. So what is focus for a text form field? Can we focus it somehow? I think focus color. What if we make this focus color for now? Colors dot something very specific or very spicy. How about Julian light green accent? So if we focus it now, the focus color. For me, it is still hard to understand where the difference is between the text form field of focused and active. So focus is when an element is able to accept input, the cursor in an input box or a link that have been tapped to. Active is when an element is being activated by the user, the time between when the user presses a mouse button and then releases it. The time between when okay, so if I'm clicking it actually, so if I make a hard click on that. So at the moment it is not taken into account in general. So the focus color would be, no, not the focus color. The focus is if we are accepting inputs, right? So now it should be active. Interesting. So let me check if this is the same here. So if I'm searching for focus color, So whether the focus has focus determines the position of the label text and the color and weight of the border, as well as the contained fill color, which is blend of focus color, with when focused and fill color when not. Defaults to false. So is focused. Okay, so if I'm going here and say is focused, disable, it would be a part of, not here, it would be a part of here, I think. Is collapsed, is focused, border. I just play a little bit around because I don't see the difference at the moment, so maybe I have to reload. What means focused? The problem is I don't see it even on the click event. Interesting. So when is this focused color used? It is used by default. The focus is based on the current theme. Okay, so the decorations container is in the area which is filled. So maybe I have to fill it. True. So now it has this background, right? So if I add here a text field and make that maybe center and remove that inkwell, I don't think we need it. So now you can see, now we have also our hover event. Fantastic. Which shows us that this hover doesn't work yet. And the focus is now here, but where is that focus color? I don't have the feeling that something has changed, right? Okay, I have to make a short break. I have to go to bathroom, so we see us in a second. So, yep. Just getting back. Sorry for that. Okay, fresh coffee. And now let's go to the next hour, because I would really like to fix that PR in a way that we can really use that in the future. So regardless to everything else, now we have it filled, which is already something, but now where comes this focused into place? This focused color is the decoration container, is the area which is filled, is true and bordered per the border. It's the area adjacent to the icon and above the widget that contains helper text, error text and counter text. When input is hovering as true, the hover color is also blended into the fill color. Okay, so it seems that this is somehow related to this action part here. But I don't see my focus color at all, right? So even though it is filled, by default the focus color is based on the current theme, okay? The color to blend with the fill color. So what is the actual, what is fill color? Let's take that as a purple. Okay, this is that color. And now where comes the focus color into play? Why is it not used? The focus color. Input, decoration, and then focus color. Let's search that. By default, the focus color is based on the decoration container in the area which is filled, if filled is true, and bordered per border. It's the area adjacent to decoration icon and above the widgets that contains helper text, error text, and counter text. Ah, look at that. Ah. Isn't being used for any UI rendering. Oh. That explains so much, because with that information we know that this part is never used. We don't know anything about focus, and that solves the issue. So we search here for focus color again, which should be not this part. I will have to remove that. But I can actually create a second PR for that, because I could work on that, because I'm anyway in the same area. So when does this happen? In the 16th of July we added some stuff. And then I maybe take that PR too. Or I just don't write it now, but it's not open long enough, so it will keep open, I think. So my decoration input, no, what is the name? Decoration icon colors, this guy. And we have the get active color, I think, exactly. So the second part. Here we go. So that means we don't need that anymore. So in that class here, we can remove the focus because it doesn't exist anymore. With that, we get rid of this. Okay, so we have icon color, hover, disabled, and active. And now we have just to take care of hover. And that should be quite easy. For that, can I create a test again? So I copy all that. Input area should take the icon color into account. I would like to have the first, if nothing is set, that we have that in the first place. So takes the theme instead of the icon color. So we take, that was with the theming. Yeah, I think that is okay. And what we want to do is we want to focus not, we want to hover. Is hovering. Hey Sonani, Smith, nice to see you around. We don't have to do that, but we have here a hover, hopefully. Archive rounded, sounds good. And which color do we want to have? That would be the hover color. And what is that at the moment? So if I'm searching for get default icon color. So now it's the question, which one would be hover? Do we even check for hover at the moment? Is focus is clear, but do we check for is hover? This icon color, is it changed somewhere else? No. So we only write it here. So that means at the moment, the hovering is not even taken into account. That would mean one of these colors would be returned. Most likely the black 45. So in our test, this would be again the colors.black45. Okay, so let's test this. This is right what I'm saying here. So this should be green now. Yeah, so this works. And now what I would like to do is I would like to use input decorator takes active theme, now takes default color for the icon on hover. Focus color active when you navigate through keyboard tab key. Well, yes, could be, but as you see here in this PR here or in this issue, the focus part is not used anymore inside of the Flutter project, right? So the input decoration doesn't use the focus color at all. So there is no difference if we add that or if we lose it or getting rid of it. So it could be that we remove that. If this is actually true that it's not being used, I believe it's nice to document this behavior. So at least at the moment it's not used. I don't know if there is any plan to bring that back, but at the moment it's not used. So it would make no sense to add that as in our icon colors at the moment. But more interesting is that this hover currently is not changeable at all. So if we take a look here on that side, so if I remove that purple again, so filled, focus, so all that away. So if I'm I think if I add filled, it would make it easier to see. So I make that true. Now it's getting this light gray part, and I have to rebuild everything because I'm not allowed to be focused. But now you can see this is the hover event, and the icon don't change on that currently. So we want to change this behavior. For that, I would like to take a look here. So we get the default icon color, and what we could do is asking for this part here. This is disabled, right? So if it is not focused, which is fine, which is enabled, I think we can keep that away. Because we checked again if it's not, and now we make is hovering or hover. Do we have any access to it? Is hovering? I don't think we need this. So if it is not focused, on the other hand, we can also remove that, right? If it is hovering, then we want to do return. Let's see. Decoration icon colors dot hover. Else we get the black 45, right? So something like that. This line, fine. Let's see if we have that now in place and we save. Decoration input color. So the hover should be amber at the moment. So does it change anything, or is it the hover on that? Oh no, that was wrong. That was a selection. So I think I can get rid of all these, just keep the hover at the moment. And now we are active. And here we go. So if it is the hover event is on, we see now that the color is changing. Great. So now let's add some other colors and just test if that works still. So we have the active color set. Yep, still the hover is working. And last but not least, if we have the default color, it still works. Great, I think that's the solution for that. Or so we have that done for the hover, that is working. We have written a lot of tests, so now the next test would be what happens. We want to have that color set and that hovering. So input taker takes the hover color into account. I remove all that. We say it's hovering true. We pass our decoration icons colors inside. Icon decoration icon colors, which then receives a hover, and this gets the expected color colors dot. Let's make that a const again. Color 0xFF, and now we give something random. So. And we don't need a const because it is already. And I think we can create again an expected const. So this is const color expected color, which is this color here. Up. And we expect the color down here. Good. Fair enough. So let's test this one. Let's have a look into our decoration again. But the test works, that's good. We have that in place. I think we improved that. So now we're coming to the heavy part, and I think what I want to do first is want to run the Flutter test again, but here inside. So I will go to the test of, I think we are here in the packages lib, right? So packages Flutter, cd packages, cd Flutter, and now we can run Flutter test, or just pub test, test. No, it needs to be Flutter test. Command not found Flutter. Yeah, sure. That makes sense because currently our ZSH is where is the I think command dot is the command shift dot. With that we get the invisible files, and we have to set the ZSHR set because I changed unfortunately my Flutter name. So currently we are not working on tools, we are in development. I think also here. So with that, if we reopen our terminal, let's execute Flutter. Here we go. Good. So now we are using the development channel, which is not necessarily the best, but let's have a look. So this is the wrong part. Up. So we have to close this terminal to restart it. Hopefully now it works. Yeah, fantastic. And we search for packages, Flutter. And here inside we run now Flutter test. This could take a while now and could also lead to a lot of breaking stuff, but it will run all the tests that we have inside of this package here. And as you see, it's a little bit faster than with the IDE. So we have here the possibility to run a bit faster through. It's pretty cool to have so many tests. I love that we have here a real life program, right? It's a real application and we see a lot of best practices here. I really like that. And I really want to keep the quality standards high for the Flutter team. So I also try to write as many tests as possible here, as you can see. Hey Flutterist, long time no see. How is it going? How is your application working? So I don't know how many tests actually there are, so it could be that they are maybe too much to run all of them, because here's also animation, Cupertino and so on. Pretty well, fantastic. I mean, with all the animations, it looked really amazing, so you did a very good job there. So one thing that I did not understand is if I wanted to run just the tests here, try to move that a bit up. If I want to run this test file here in completion, we got a lot of errors, especially with the width and so on and so forth. So I'm a bit afraid that there are. Ah, now it's working. Okay. Finally. So these are the tests just for the input decoration. So I will skip these tests here because it's too much to run, because I don't have changed anything else. So we just run these tests here. And as you see, we are good to go. What I see now, we have for the align label with hint, we have actually a group. And this is what I would like to do for our tests too, because we have a lot for the icons now. And if we would keep it like it is right now, with that, that it's just part of it, it's very hard to find the tests for especially these problems or these behaviors that we have. So what I want to do is I want to search for my tests again. So I think they start here. Let's make it a note just to see, yep, these are all my changes, yep, till down here. And what I want to do is now creating a testing group for that, which I call icons or decoration icon colors, and we'll create an own runner for that. So fantastic. And let's start to bring all these tests inside of this decoration here. So also that part. This part here too, voila. Williams, we have this part, great. Also that and this, and I think till here. We can get rid of a lot of lines. Saying that here. So, and this doesn't change much, but if we run now all the tests once more, we will see that we have our tests in a specific place, and we can find easier our tests here. If I run all of them once more, you should set silent observatory. Now they are way faster because much of the stuff is already cached in behind, so that helps. And what we can see now inside of that here, we have now our decoration in icon colors and all the different tests we have inside of here. So decoration icon color is not really a good name for the group, I think. We even get an error here. What's the problem? Ah, single quote. Okay, fair enough. So decoration icon colors should... No. Tests for the decoration icon, or no, just keep it. I think it's good enough. People will understand. So now we should have here better naming, like decoration icon colors should should use default colors. So if the decoration icon colors are not set, then we should use the default color. With that I can remove a lot of stuff. Default color. Yes, so with that we have this part. Input decorator takes active color into account. So the input decorator takes active color into account. Should take the active color into account. Okay. So I don't talk so much about that. I think that makes a lot of sense to improve the documentation talk here a little bit. So that's why I changed the naming here a little bit. So because we know we are always in the group of the decoration icon colors, I would like to start always with should. Should use default color and then if not set. So that means that we use the decoration if we use the default color if the decoration icon colors is not set. At least this is in my head at the moment. Let's see if everyone else understands it the same way. But that's the good thing, right, in open source, because everyone can give you feedback and we all improve with that. So should take active color for the icon instead. Why? Ah, okay, that is the primary. Okay, so should take primary color if how's the name? Declaration. No, declaration icon colors is not set. And I think I make that also more specific in the other parts. If declaration icon colors is not set into account. Okay, if declaration icon is not set. Disabled should be set. So input disabled color should be, no, I take that with the same like above, like take that into account. Input decorator should take disabled color into account. Should take default icon color into account. If you have a better wording for that, I'm more than happy to change that. There we have also the should take disabled icon color into account. Okay, so let's run the tests again, just to make sure that everything works well. Where's our decoration icon color? Here we go. And now we have the multiple shoulds underneath it. Perfect. This is what I want to see. All right. So with that, our input decorator is working. We have written tests for it. Do we have anything missing? We tested it around. We have now a hover part, which works fine. Of course, we have missed something. That one that I move always to the end. Writing documentation. Okay, I'm really bad at this. So how does the Flutter team works in documentation? Is there any best practice? Let's have a look. For that, I will go to the contributors guideline, because I think if there is something, then we will find there more. So documentation, code of conduct, triage, issue, hygiene, Flutter design doc template. Ah no, this is just for the, yeah. Style guide, which includes advice for designing APIs for Flutter, format code and framework. Yeah, I think here we'll find something. And now like documentation. Dart docs, Java docs. We use Dart doc for Dart documentation. I know that. Guide except where that would contradicting. Okay, so there is a Dart documentation guide. Let's see. Okay, this is just how to comment differently. Okay, that makes sense. We know that. Avoid useless documentation. I got that. Okay. If you're having trouble coming up with useful documentation, here are some prompts that might help you write more detailed prose. If someone is looking at this documentation, it means that they have a question which they couldn't answer by guesswork or by looking at the code. What could that question be? Try to answer all questions you came up with. If you are telling someone about this property, what might they want to know that they couldn't guess? For example, are there edge cases that aren't intuitive? Consider the type of property or arguments. Are there cases that are outside the normal range that should be discussed? Negative numbers, non-integer values, transparent colors, empty arrays, infinity, not a number, null. Discuss any that are non-trivial. Does this member interact with any others? For example, can it only be non-null if another is null? Does this member have a similar name or purpose to another such that we should point out one-on-one? Also see no race conditions. Are there lifetime? No, we don't have a dispose problem. Can it be called at any time? Are there limits? I think no. There is no future avoid. Empty prose. It is important to be aware of the fact that in the absence of explicit value, this property defaults to 2. Okay. Okay, avoid saying note, that makes sense. Leave breadcrumbs in the comments. Okay. So you see, to write a good documentation is a science for itself, right? It's very tough. When the documentation would be incomparable, method, a member of a class that is non-anonymous closures. Oh, this one is very important for a lot of people, I think. Where's the difference between method, function, parameter, argument? The term call to the term invoke, okay. Term member variable to term instance variable. Provide sample code, okay. Okay, so that is perfect. I can maybe start with this example code because our UI research has shown that developers prefer to see examples that are in the context of an entire app. So whenever it is possible, provide an example that can be presented as part of an entire application instead of just simple sample like the one above. This can be done using tool dartpad template dartdoc indicator, where template is the name of the template that given block of Dart code can be inserted to. Wow. See here for more details about writing kind of examples, and here for a list of descriptions, available templates, dartpad examples. As an in-page, this is the part when you scroll to a certain place, then you find this part. Okay, cool. Clearly marked, okay. The foo argument must not be null. Okay, I try to improve the documentation. Let's think about it. I would start with a snippet. I think that makes sense. The cool thing, do you really think that for the, if you would search for the input decoration and let's say for the input decoration, we have here currently running examples, right? Would you like to have something like that also for the input, for that new input decoration part? Interesting question, I think. So actually what I would like to have is inside of the C also, I would love to have here also another part where it brings us to that input icon color, right? I don't know if it's part here, input decorator, heavy lifting, no. All right, let's think about it. I would like to commit first here before we write the documentation, because that stuff works already. So written tests for input decorator for input decorator colors. I think that's a different name, right? We have that. Here, this guy wrote tests for this part and improved the API to make it possible to change icon colors for text fields. Review. Yeah, I'm working on that, but this too will be improved in the future. So we commit this stuff. So now let's jump to the documentation. defines the different icon color states that the input decoration can be in. Decoration icon colors, yeah. So, and now what I would like to do is adding decoration icon colors. Yeah, I would like to add such a short example if I can. So for that, I want to take a look how it works in the style guide. To provide a sample code, it's pretty easy, right? So we can just use that add tool snippet, end tool, add tool. So what we can do is passing that inside here, for example. And here, do we have to make so many comments? No. All right, so there was a mistake, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Medan, I'm working directly inside of Flutter itself, so it's currently working on the heart. Hey Amma, nice to see you. So we add this part here, or should we? I think to have a dart pad would be even cooler. I think that is already fantastic, but I think if we would have this dart pad with the template, it would be even better. See here for my, okay, so get one additional part. Hey Abby, nice to see you. So dart doc generation, snippet tool. The Flutter API documentation contains code blocks that help provide context. Flutter aims to generate these code blocks. Flutter uses dart doc tools. Okay, I understand. Which is more or less context-free code snippet. Dart pad sample, which gets placed a full-fledged application and can be executed inline in the documentation on the web page using dart pad. A sample which gets a full-fledged but isn't placed into... No, I would like to have that dart pad. So how can I do that? So snippet tool, all right. Sample tool. What do we search for? Dart pad. Snippet tool, sample tool. Ah, okay. So for that, tool sample. The sample and dartpad tool also allow for quick Flutter app generation using the following command. To do this, there is a config templates directory that contains a list of templates. These templates represent an entire app that the sample of dartpad can be placed into. Wow. Test doc generation, running sample analyzes locally. I did not completely understand it, so I have to read it again. Sorry, guys. So we have the possibility to create a complete sample, right? Snippet dart pad. I would like to create that dart pad. The code snippet tool generates a code block, a description, and an example code snippet. Okay. Can be copied to the clipboard, added to an existing application. This uses skeleton for snippets when generating HTML to put at dart docs. Okay, so what is the snippet here? Okay, so this is the HTML part that surrounds it. Okay. And then we have that sample in app where we can get all the stuff. The code sample and dartpad tools can expand sample code into Flutter. Okay. Can be directly copied and used to demonstration the API's functionality in sample application, or use with Flutter create command to create. Okay, this is exactly what I would like. So for that, we use tool sample template statelet widget material. This example shows how to make a simple floating action button. Okay. So I will copy that part here. And dartpad tool also allow for quick Flutter app generation using the following command. Flutter create --sample. This is that part here, right? So, and then we get the example. Okay, and then we just put the build inside. Okay, fantastic. Let's try that. I'm curious if this works like I expected. So we copy, instead of having this tools here, remove that, add this part. Now we have a build, and what I can do is now go to my main here. I can explain it to you. Well, you know, in the different APIs, like if you're going here for that input decoration, you have these sample codes with that interactive app, right? And now with that, we have the possibility to create the whole thing here for our solution. So that means we would have all this code and everything for our input decoration part. So for that, I copy now my application that I have here, where all the stuff that we don't need gets removed. Like we don't need an app bar, we need a scaffold, I think. Is that okay? So how does it work here? So we have a lot more. We have a build of a scaffold with an app bar. Interesting. So if we go to the input decoration once more, and we search for input decoration, I search for the class, here we go. Then we have this end tool, and I think we have exactly this. So you see, we ask for the tool, and then we put all this stuff inside with a build function where that stuff is inside. So text form field, and they use a template for that, stateless widget scaffold. And now we can say we have a build where return text form field is inside. So we would do nearly the same. I will copy that now. Yep. I would even copy all of that because I think that is nearly what we want. So get that. Now we have to go to our decoration icon colors. Here we go. And instead of having this part, we would replace that with our. Here we go. Because they use a different template that we can also use. Now we have already our text form field in place. And what I would like to add is just this part here with our decoration colors. So instead of having this decoration here, we would now add this decoration colors without the done, of course. So, and also organizing everything a little bit better. Yep. So, like that. And now we don't need the prefix, we don't need the suffix, we don't need a border. I think we can just keep it with this decoration icon colors. So, and this will place now this example inside of our Dart documentation if everything works well. So with that, I don't have to explain so much. This sample shows how to style a text field with rounded border with... we need an icon, right? Sure. I think this, without that we can't work here. So we take that inside. Oops. Like that. That is good. And initial value will be ABC. I don't need that even. What is that? Assets, documentation, decoration. I don't know where this links to. Okay, this is just an image somewhere, so we don't actually need that. And up here, this sample shows how to style a text field, how to give an icon different colors with input decoration colors, decoration icon colors. Voila. Additional text before and after, we don't need that, so that would be everything for that. So how can we create that? What plugin was it? And congratulations, because that is always annoying if such stuff happens. So how do I create? I think if I want to create the documentation for Flutter, I just have to go here and say, I think they have a command for that. So if we look into the project, Let's go to dev, and I think in dev we have docs, and here we have readme. Flutter is blah blah blah, more documentation, Flutter dev, important libraries. No, that is not it. These are just the general docs. This is not what I want. Or is there something to create it? No. Pod builders tools, gen keycodes, libs, vcode, dart, doc, dart. What means dart, doc, dark? VI tools. Yeah, that could be. I think at the moment, because VS Code has so much drive, a lot of people change to VS Code. It's getting harder and harder to find the right parts. So this directory contains blah blah blah, prop builders. No. So let's check if I find something here in the documentation, how to create the documentation. Contributing to Flutter. Wait, Flutter documentation. No, not this one. Development wiki. Debugging, designing, engineering. Submitting code, RFC, reviewing. Yeah, that's true. Designing docs. Can I search the different pages here? Ah, yeah, fantastic. Flutter cherry pick, recipe, rolling dart, post frame repo, engine repo. Okay. I was hoping actually that I can just execute dart doc here, so I could actually try that. Because we have here the dart doc part. What do we, this script is safe to run with the CVD as a root of the Flutter repo. It will generate documentation for the packages package and write the documentation to dev docs. Okay, fantastic. But this is actually just a runner. So what we can do is we go to our parent folder. So where are we at the moment? Yeah, I thought so. So here we are in Flutter. And now we have to execute dev. And then inside of here we have, dev tools, I think, and then of course dart, and here we have to give the dart doc dart. So let's see if this works, because what we are doing now is we create the dart docs locally so that I can check if the change that we did is correct and worked fine. So let's take a look. Yeah, as I said, for main projects, I always will use IntelliJ compared to VS Code. Just convenience, and I know everything there, so it's just that I know better. But I think that makes no difference at the end for most people. So we copied a lot. Dev docs looks good. Will take a while most likely because it's quite a lot of documentation. Documenting Flutter. Crazy stuff. So you see, we have really a lot of documentation that gets created. I think for all the sub packages also. So pretty crazy what happens here. But what we want to have is at the end, we want to check if our input decoration documentation that we wrote here is working, because that would be fantastic. Then we don't have to take care of that so much then, because this would already explain how it works. And then we just have to check how we document a constructor, because yeah, I think that we can do in the meantime. So if we search for the input decoration, this guy, here we have also that the input decoration looks completely different. And I would like to copy that just to read what they write, because for me I would say the constructor should be the same or not. How does that look in the input decoration here? If we go here, where's the difference? So we have here a lot of code in order, the border, okay. And now when we come to the constructor, creates a bundle of, then we have here the different, this is that part then here, okay. So it's really something else, it's a real own documentation for that. So the constructor has an own documentation. Interesting. We'll have to take a look into. Let's hope that the documentation looks fine, but it's getting parsed to where exactly? I think to docs somewhere, so we can maybe jump already there. Up. So we have that. This is the Flutter package, and it should be somewhere here inside, I think. What did I read where it will be generated? I think I'd take a look into the Dart docs script, so tools, and then we have here Dart docs. In dev docs doc API, so we will have it in dev docs doc API, where it's currently just a footer.js. Also updates the index HTML file. Alright. So inside of here, now I lost it again. Docs, footer, doc. So that it can be placed at the root of docs, Flutter.io, okay. So where do we find this index HTML? It will be mostly part here inside, right? So I think if the script is running through, then we get it here. Git be in your path. It requires that Flutter has been run previously. It uses the version of Dart downloaded by Flutter tool in this repository and will crash if it is absent. Okay. You see, it's getting more and more. Fantastic. What happens if I start now up this index HTML? I think we can just open it up inside of the Finder, for example. Okay, there is missing CSS, but you can see we have now already a pretty decent, well, we have now a locally running API. Okay, so let's wait a little bit more. In the meantime, I can maybe think about what I do with the constructor, because to sit around is not a good solution for me. So we have that input decorator. Yep. So we search for our favorite class, this one. Okay. Creates the decoration icon colors. Let's see what we have wrote here. So creates a bundle of the border, labels, icons, and styles used to decorate a material design text field. Creates a bundle of border, labels. Okay, creates, and I think I can do that with 3 slashes. Creates a bundle of different colors that the material input decoration. No. How's it here called? And styles used to decorate a material design text field. Use to decorate the icons, the icon of the material design text field. Alright, so what do we have else? Unless specified, is there anything special for that? I don't think so, right? I think all of them. The only thing that could be maybe interesting is that the default values here are getting from the theme data. Something like that. But this means if no color is specified, it will fall back to the theme's default colors. I think that makes sense, so it's good explained. So that we have this, I think that should be fine. So how far are we? Can I run that Dart doc just for a specific folder that doesn't create it for everything? That would be fantastic. So let's have a look. Not here. In the tools, Dart doc. We have here arguments that we can pass in, and I would like to know which are the arguments that we can parse. Create args parser, help, verbose, checked, JSON, validate links. No, unfortunately not. And this one seems to be broken, right? Services, web drivers. Dart. Error, tool execution failed. Tool Dartpad returned non-zero execute when run bin cache dart SDK bin dart. Folder ph dart doc snapshot start stateless widget scaffold input to the Dartpad was. Okay, so our stuff is broken unfortunately. So what is the problem? Flutter code sample for decoration icon colors. The source code could not be parsed. Oh, maybe do I have maybe a something too much or too less? Okay, let's take this build, and what I will do is bring that to the other app here. Pass that here inside for now. So, and instead of returning a scaffold here, we just want to return that. Of this, remove the build. So now I set everything up. So this build part wants to be selected. I remove everything else. What do you mean with cursors? Ah, you mean this part? Multiple carrots. It's a very old video, but you can check that out. I highly like to share that because I love these little code snippet stuff. So that was one of my first parts where I think it's called Every Widget Counts or something. So let's see if I find it right away. Playlist. Okay. Every widget, no, every shortcut counts. Here we go. And I think multi-extract, increase, shrink, multiple carrots. So this guy. I know it's a very old video, so most likely my my voice and my sound is not that good. I always like to share that stuff. Okay, then we have this, the counter. Yeah, so I wanted to get this build function now and want to take that over to here. So, and here I want to create multiple cursors again. So, do we need that override? I don't think so, but this part is necessary. So this should now be completely aligned with the stuff. So I can cancel that part and rerun it. And hopefully this time it runs through. I didn't have to plan, but let's see. Depends how long I need. I want to get finished with that PR. I know it's a lot of work, but still it's important for me to get that running. And if it means that I have to go through and Matab just joins here, then yeah, maybe. No, I don't think so. I will cut that off at least 13:30, so in like a half an hour. But until then, let's go through. I have some fun at the moment, so it's a perfect Sunday. And you know, I hate that if I have a project that I can finish. I always sit there and I don't even get it done. Maybe I have to do something like this crazy stuff. Maybe if I get monetized, then we can start something like a donation stream when I'm like working for a non-profit organization or something, and then make a 24-hour stream or something like that. Can't imagine to stay 24 hours awake, but have to try it. Have to start early, like in 4 in the morning. Real icons, do all that stuff. Viewed host, code sample. Decoration, what does that mean? Ah, yeah, that makes sense. What are you now? Weird. The good thing is her name is not Martha, her name is Mahtab. It's a little bit different. I write it here. Sorry, I tried that. Maybe I removed that from the title too, because I started when I thought I would be much faster with that, but it will be now my icon decoration issue fixed. So let's save that. Sorry for that. But if I get feedback from the Flutter team, I want to first finish that off, because maybe we can get merged it into the Flutter thing. And so everyone has something from it, you know? And from the website, I know we want to have that finished, and I also want to have that finished. Maybe this gets a good 24-hour stream. Yeah, we have to work there too. And I found a very cool Medium article about Flutter responsive the last time, and there was someone who created a fantastic, phenomenal website, in my opinion, with pure Flutter and also responsive and everything. And I want to read that first before we go further with that. Maybe I can improve there even more for the streaming. Yep. Start analyzes, broken, fantastic. Let's see if we come through here. Go, go, go. So, and now the question for you guys. Would you understand if you read something like that? So, creates a bundle of different colors used to decorate the icon of the material design text field, or better, input decoration. And I think we can remove that. For the input decoration. The default colors are coming from the current active theme. This means if no color is specified, it will fall back to the theme's default colors. I think that makes sense. Just, is there anything else that we have to keep in mind? That the default colors are hard-coded maybe? But I think that is no issue at the end if we can change that here. I'm really curious what the Flutter team is telling. Is that you are talking Ray Lee? Let me check. I don't know. I have that saved in my to-dos. Well, let me check. What was the name? Ray Lee? Maybe he's... Could be. It was pretty new, I think. No, I don't think so. Oop, no canolia stuff, okay, but here all the stuff runs through. And it seems that we didn't get an error this time from our stuff, which is pretty good. At least not yet. Flutter foundation, gestures. Material. Generating docs, material text editing, okay. Still running, still running. In the meantime, I can take a look into the docs file again. So we go to docs, doc, API, and the index HTML. Let's reveal that and start it up. Looks still ugly. Form dart is broken. Is anywhere an error that I can fix? No, this is just parsing. No. Oh, it's still working. He recreated Flutter and pub websites in Flutter completely. Fantastic. That is a real cool solution, I think. It would be fantastic that the Dart Flutter team is also doing that in the future. It would, you know, dog food, eat your own stuff. So if you have Flutter, you should also use it. No worries, AKS. I know exactly the problem with her name. Also, I always pronounce it a little bit differently. Maybe that's where the confusion comes from. Drop-down validator. Do we have an issue somewhere? Error, reference text. No, this has nothing to do with me, I think. API, gesture, material. So much stuff. In the meantime, I can try to open that with Chrome, for example. And maybe when we bring that down, maybe we can search for something, or no? This is just a link. Maybe we find something like input decoration. No. Okay, so we have to wait till it does something. It looks pretty bogged. That's a little bit unlucky that I don't really can try that as I would like to. This is now creating an own terminal. I would like to have the path or something to here. So and we go to development, cd Flutter, and now we run the Dart docs once more. So dev tools Dart doc.dart, and of course adding the Dart in front. So, what a beautiful native apps. Thank you for the link, Minor. I will share it in the chat if I can. Here. Voila. Have I opened it up there? Up here. So here. Codelessly. So this is now fully fledged in Flutter. Phenomenal. But it links then to the next. Okay. Interesting. So cool, really. Still, the performance still fights a little bit, I have the feeling. You see that down here. The FPS is dropping highly. But it's still a so cool solution. So happy with it. And the Dart packages, we have 2. Alright. So cool. And also this link I will share. Here we go. I will shortly close my IDE because I have the feeling that this somehow is related to the problem that this one is getting stuck here. I could imagine because IntelliJ tries to index always the HTML files and everything in the documentation, we don't get that finished. They are so amazing, really, I love that. I'm always impressed by such stuff, and Ray Lee does now a very good job, and I think I don't know his name, but he creates also like copies of Spotify and such stuff. It's so amazing. I just think always how much time the people spend to do that actually. So cool. But let's stick for now in this screen. I know it's a bit annoying and a bit boring, but I have to hope that if we stay here, that we kind of really finish that off, that we can see how it is parsed. It's a bit unlucky that it takes so long to create all that stuff. I was using device animation in my app. That's where you get that question from, right? I think you mentioned that you want to recreate that. But this actually shows that everything is possible, right? Next big thing would be maybe something like WordPress for Flutter or something like that. So it still tries to get something from Git, so that is active at least, that is something. So you see, documentation writing is in general not the funniest task. And you see it also takes a long time in Flutter, unfortunately. I ask myself if I'm doing that right. So if I look here again, I want to go to the Flutter repository. It would be fantastic to see if there is a possibility to go somewhere. Breadcrumb, you can also see. Yeah, interesting in that. I think the code is completely open source, so he created that stuff in a GitHub repository. Maybe after the stream I can add them to the video description below. The C also would be interesting, I think. I could add that too here. So we have that DevTools and everything. And how is it done? So if I'm looking for the input decoration. Oh yeah, that would be also fantastic. Thank you, Mino. So, and is there, yeah, just at the end there is a C also part, but as you see it's after the parent, so after the class. So let's check back to that. This one's still running, so it could take a while. But now it's stuck somehow, it doesn't do anything anymore. So is there an error? No canonical gesture detector. Okay, here it crashes, it seems. Unfortunate. Terminate. Foundation. I think it's a material, right? If I'm searching here for the input decoration, will I find it is the question. Is it even part of material? It's also a good question. Where can I find it? I have to open up my project again. Open recent, Flutter, new window. So here we have that part. Now I would like to add these comments, right? So with that C also, this is one part that I would like to do. 1, 2, 3. And jeez. Up. Not foobar, decoration. No, input decoration. Different fallback, that's good. And I wanted to know in which package we are. Input decoration is part of material, so let's have a look. Inside of here we have about, that means A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? No, it doesn't create the material library. Thank you, Mino. Check it out. Yeah, totally fantastic. So feel free to check that link out. There are all the animation inside. So it seems that it crashed somewhere at the I part, and somehow if this is crashing there, I have the bad feeling that it crashed because of our changes. So something is not right still. So let's jump again into development, Flutter, and run again our command. And now we have to read once more where it exactly crashes. It's a bit unlucky, but we will find that, I promise. So input, no, decoration, icon, colors. Here we go. So this guy is crashing at the moment. So we have the tool dark pad template, which we got from below. So if we search for input decoration once more, did I made a mistake somewhere? So we have the end tool description, we have the dart part, we don't have this. They have a line above. Start tool, end tool. No, it looks absolutely right. So if someone sees something that I don't see, please let me know. I don't know. Good question. Never worked with it. Codelessly. Free code automation. Flutter app UI and website builder. Yeah, it seems like it's a generator. But build apps 10 times faster, sign up, add dates, and grab a beta spot. So it seems that you can create easily workflows in Flutter and then get code out of it. Like most likely very close to Solarflare, I think was the name. No, Solarflare was something else. What was the name? Supernova. This guy here. I don't know where the differences are because I don't know Codelessly enough, but I think they will be pretty similar. So where is our code here? Sure. Copinos, wow. So Copiton's website. What is Copiton? So this guy. Hey, how are you? Long time no see, Hasnan. It's pretty difficult at the moment, to be honest. We try to create the Flutter documentation, but unfortunately it crashes all the time. So, last try. If this not works, then oh wait, I will do something else. I will now remove the docs part, I think. So whatever is inside here, I will just remove. Copiton. Alright, we'll check that in a sec. I will just execute my command here. So now it can work in the meantime, and we can check the copiton.com. So, deliver a perfect mobile experience of every release. So the website is pretty sleek, that's true. So let's have a look. So it is HTML. With that, it is most likely a JavaScript framework, I would say. Full width, so it looks like VC. Ah, yeah, I know. Still, it was a long time, or not? So what do we have? Copiton, they have plugins Ultimate VC. It's a WordPress page. So you see that VP content, so you see it is a WordPress page. And the other thing that I would like to test, so this is running now. it. What was it? Forgot about it. Sad. Okay, now let's see how far we come this time. Hopefully a bit further. The video link. All right, so let's see where this leads to. Ah, there he created it. Oh, that is fantastic. So if you want to join Ray Lee, he makes also fantastic videos. I obviously will share that with the team. So here you go. It's a little bit quieter today. My voice is not there anymore. Is it still working? Nothing happens? Okay. Okay, what I will do is, because that's kind of boring and I think that doesn't deliver. Ah, it's working still. Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I just have to wait. Text field, set field, style. So I'm really curious if the Flutter team likes that creation of the documentation more. Alright, bye bye Minu. Till the next time, or till afternoon. Okay, so documenting Flutter, so now it should get started. Oh, that's alright, AKS. Thank you. But unresolving... unresolved doc reference, text editing dispose, error no canonical, Flutter lib foundation diagnostic, Cupertino. Flutter material dart, source, implicit animation. Maybe we find an issue for that because it's very weird. Let's search for Flutter. New Dart doc warnings. Okay, so I'm not the only one. 2nd of May, this is done already most likely. So what do I have to do? Final fixes, okay. Yeah, okay, I just let it run, and I think that I make a break now, and maybe it's fixed till the afternoon, then we can work on that anytime others. But I don't think it makes any sense to have a live stream running while I'm waiting till this is scanning through. So thanks for joining me today. It was fantastic again. It was a very good and successful session at the end because we managed anyway to have a lot of stuff done. I will just commit this anyway. So this is now added a lot of documentation. Added documentation or proper documentation. Wait for the... I think we can commit it anyway. And there is still a to-do, so wait. Okay. So anyway, I will not even do that for now. Okay, so thank you very much. We see us the next time. This was a very long stream. Thank you for joining me, and we see us the next time. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments.